Please put your hands together for Nicole Blaine.
Please keep it going for the fact that we are all not on a Zoom. I'm telling you, I got to add a whole new job title to my pandemic resume. I'm now apparently a homeschool teacher. I mean, I'm just checking off the dream job boxes. Turns out I'm actually a very good homeschool teacher. I'm incredibly nice. I do a lot of positive reinforcement. Right, so every single time my little guy memorized a new math fact, I'd force him to celebrate. I was like, you are required to give me a high five and a big wet sloppy smooch. Finally, after a little while, he turned to me and he was like, Mommy, I cannot keep kissing you on the mouth like this. Now that you are my teacher, it is inappropriate. And I was like, if only I had said the exact same thing to my high school math teacher. One day he got off of a Zoom class and he was like, today in school, we learned how the world was created. It is called the Big Bang Theory. And I was like, right now, that makes more sense than anything I've ever heard. I was making lunch for him, a little PB&J, and he walks over and he goes, Mommy, is it the middle of the day or the end of the day? I was like, seriously? Like, you have no idea what time of day it is outside? And he was like, no. Nighty-night. Yeah. You can use that. I ran into an old friend that I have not seen since college. It's so much fun to see where you end up later in life, right? Because back when we were in college, we were on the same track. We were inseparable, we were twinsies, we were same everything, right? Like we were same major, same sorority, same semester, we both got pregnant. That summer, she had a beautiful baby girl. I backpacked Europe. I mean, her mistake cost her $15,000 every single year since college. My mistake cost me $400. And I can tell by your silence it may have cost me an eternity in hell. That joke kills in Texas. No. But my kids. No, the living ones. The survivors. They're fun. Like my daughter, when she was 10, it's such a sweet age. 10, right? They're still innocent, they're young, they're sort of straddling childhood, right? She bursts out of the bathroom and she's like, Mommy, I think I just got my very first period. And I was like, what? Are you sure? Like, are you sure? She's like, I don't know. So I was like, well, take down your pants. Let me look. And I look in there and I was like, congratulations. That is a period. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, well, I am hoping it's not a miscarriage. You guys are so much fun. It's gonna get darker, so just... It's gonna get darker. Miscarriage, I know. Abortions, miscarriages. It's too much fun. Let's get into my husband, all right? My husband swears that he does not watch porn. His always cleared browser history tells a very different tale. He says that the only way that he can get off is by watching the two of us do it instead of some dirty strangers. Aww. So sweet. He's basically manipulated me into filming our entire sex life. And we've been together for a really long time, since I was 18, right? We were teenagers, all right? So the library is huge. But now anytime I come home from work and I see that the VCR has been dusted off, and one of our very first VHS tapes has been popped in, I feel like technically he's been getting off to child porn. Here's the deal. When I was 18 years old and making these tapes with him, I was super insecure, right? I was 40 pounds heavier and I was like, oh, I'm gonna look fat. I went back, I watched the very first tape we ever made together. I looked amazing. Like if only I had known. Now I feel like it is my mission to go out to these teenagers and be like, you need to make a sex tape now. You will not regret it, okay? You're welcome. Flash forward, I marry this guy, 10 years later, we're pregnant. This one I'm gonna keep. I'm past my due date, okay? And I turned to him, I was like, you know what we need to do right now? We need to make a sex tape, all right? Now, I don't know how many of you have had large pregnant porn. There is only one position that works by that point. Girl has to be on top, right? So I go ahead, I set up the camera, I waddle over, I get on top, and I look over, and I see that I do not even fit in the frame. Which makes me giggle just like a little bit. I don't know if you know what happens when you're pregnant, like a good 2 weeks past your due date pregnant, and you giggle just a little bit, and there's a cock inside of you. Do you know what happens next? You pee. You do. I peed all over the love of my life, which I thought was a little funnier than not fitting in the frame. So I laughed a little harder. Do you know what happens when you are 10 full months pregnant, you've peed all over your husband, and you're laughing really hard, and there's a cock inside of you? Do you know what happens next? You poop. I did a full release all over my soulmate. Let me tell you something. Bob Saget would have loved this. For America's Funniest Home Videos, I would have won the $10,000 prize for sure. Do you know what happens next when you are that hormonal and you are now sitting in a cesspool while filming and your husband's cock inside of you? Do you know what happens next? You burst into tears. Long, hard sobs, extended period. I need you to understand what my husband was doing this entire time. The entire time, my husband was kind, understanding, and hard as a rock. That is a keeper! Yes! Yeah! And now we know what kind of porn he swears he's not watching. All right, can I get super dark and edgy with you guys? Yes? Okay, because this one's so dark, I actually feel like I do. I need to ask you permission, all right? I don't want you to get weird. Are you okay if I tell a joke, it's a joke, about my date rape? You okay with it? Thank you. I don't want you to get weird. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable or triggered. Don't even worry about me, okay? Because in all honesty, this was best case scenario date rape. Yes, best case scenario date rape, because my date rapist was hung like a 3-year-old. So in the middle of it, I was like, rape? Was that uncomfortable for anyone? A little painful? Because I just want to remind everyone here that that joke was completely consensual. Unlike my rape. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. I'm Nicole Blaine. Enjoy the rest of the show, you guys.